India could be the new China in the 2030s. So it's not about making money in the next year. So it's about making money in the next 20 to 30 years. And that's why you have to go to India now.
Maruti Suzuki is just not planning to launch the electric Vitara later this year. They're also trying to bring a complete EV ecosystem for the market.
India, the world's fourth largest automobile market.
India seems to be charging itself in terms of sales of EV vehicles. 1 million vehicles sold already in 2023, and though it may still be only a small portion of the overall automobile segment, it's growing.
And just like that, yet another phenomenal year comes to an end. And as we gear up for a fresh lap around the track, let's take a look in the rearview mirror and look at 5 things that happened in 2024 that will shape the automotive world in India for the next few years. Welcome to White Metal. Let's start with the market. Tata Punch made some big headlines recently for becoming the best-selling car in 2024, selling a total of more than 200,000 units. This is certainly great news for Tata and makes it official that they're not fooling around. The Punch is followed by Maruti Suzuki Wagon-R and Ertiga for the second and third spot. In fact, here are the top 10 selling cars of 2024. There are 6 Marutis, 2 Tatas, 1 Hyundai and 1 Mahindra on this list. And Maruti did all of that while selling a total of 0 electric cars. Goes on to say just how well Maruti Suzuki understands the Indian consumer. Another obvious trend we're seeing in this list is that it also has 5 SUVs, 3 hatchbacks, 1 sedan and 1 MUV. The dominance of SUVs in this list underscores the shift in preferences of the Indian consumer. With no solution for bad roads and companies delivering efficient crossovers, they are slowly becoming the car of the masses. While Tata seems to have won the battle for the best-selling car, Maruti Suzuki won the war by selling a total of more than 1.4 million cars, which is more than the combined sales of Hyundai and Mahindra that take the second and third spot. Just like Maruti Suzuki aced the 4-wheeler game, Hero MotoCorp remains the undisputed king of 2-wheelers in India, closing the year with more than 5.4 million units sold. Honda and TVS followed on second and third. Speaking of 2-wheelers, Ola Electric, in spite of all the bad PR about bad quality and bad service, has managed to sell the most number of electric scooters, closing the year with more than 400,000 units sold. Bajaj and TVS following on second and third. The electric scooters market in India is becoming a battlefield in itself. With more than 60 players in the game, this abundance of EV scooter companies lends itself to the low barrier of entry into this industry. Scooters, due to their simple construction, are easy to design, and since most of the important components like the battery and motor can be bought off the shelf, it really does not take a lot to build an EV scooter company from scratch, at least in comparison to a traditional automotive company. And all of the money the government is spending on subsidies and infrastructure only makes things easier. Let's talk about the industry. Manufacturers have different ways of listening to us so that they can give us exactly what we want. But they can't always keep doing that. So they also innovate and test the waters to see what works. Tata did a combination of both. They heard us when we said more SUVs, and they said yes, but with a twist. So as the next step in the evolutionary ladder of the mighty subcompact crossover SUVs, or just jacked up hatchbacks, in September, Tata launched their new SUV coupe, the Curve. And almost as if on cue, Mahindra made their serious entry into the EV game, launching the XEV9e and the BE6.
B6E and XEV9e.
These two cars take the design of compact SUVs in a direction never seen before, at least not in this segment. The unique and bold design of these cars make you pause and think about them. It's hard to decide whether you like them or not. Although these cars are very different, the resemblance in their body design cannot be ignored. It's almost as if making these cars was a coordinated decision between Tata and Mahindra. Is it possible that companies are now bored of updating the same SUVs every year and want to spice things up. Or maybe they feel everything that could be done with traditional SUVs has already been done and there's nothing new to add. With traditional SUVs becoming more boxy like the new Thar Rocks, their story has come full circle and they've come back to exactly where they started. And these new age SUVs, if you will, give the industry the opportunity to explore something new. Now, will the market buy into this? Only time will tell. But they sure are head turners. Bottom line is, looks like we're moving on from making jacked up hatchbacks to making jacked up sedans. Because who doesn't like some good old fashioned ground clearance in these tough times? There was a time when airbags and ABS were features reserved only for the top models of certain cars. They were marketed as these extra features that you had to pay a premium for. From that to customers inquiring about safety ratings and companies bragging about them every opportunity they get, we've come a long way. Another company that made the news this last year was Maruti Suzuki when they launched the new 2024 Swift Desire.
Presenting the dazzling new Desire, the best and beyond.
The news here was that this car passed with a 5-star global NCAP rating. The crash test results were significantly better than the previous ones. For a company that historically made cars that acted as crumple zones for the car behind them, this is a big deal. Especially for prices starting less than 10 lakhs. As customers become more aware of crash safety, at least as a feature, if not as a deal breaker, this sets a significant benchmark for the industry. While there are still other cars, especially the more affordable ones, that are not considered safe by any standards. Car manufacturers taking safety seriously, even if it is just to use it as a selling point, is certainly a welcome trend. And now let's talk about the government, the third and final piece that makes this holy trinity work. Governments have immense power in shaping the future of markets and industries. And despite its soft inclination towards the free market, the Indian government is not shying away from exercising this power. The FAME 2 subsidy scheme started in 2019 that essentially showered money on anything that runs on a battery was finally discontinued in March. It was temporarily replaced by the EMPS scheme until the government finally rolled out the PM E-Drive scheme in October.
The PM Electric Drive Revolution in Innovative Vehicle Enhancement or PM E-Drive scheme. The Union Cabinet, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, recently gave it the green light.
This new scheme reaffirms the government's ambitious goal of achieving 30% electric vehicle penetration by 2030. Far-fetched as it may sound, the government, or at least the Minister of Road Transport and Highways, does seem very serious about it.
आज शाम को 5:30 बजे वित्त मंत्री मेरे घर पर एक मीटिंग के लिए आने वाली है और मैं उनको रिक्वेस्ट करने वाला हूं कि आने वाले समय में डीजल से जो भी इंजन चलाते हैं उसके ऊपर एडिशनल 10% जीएसटी लगाओ ताकि जल्दी इसका ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगा, नहीं तो लोग जल्दी सुनने के मूड में नहीं.
Thank God they didn't listen to him, right? This new PM E-Drive scheme allocates about 10,900 crores to be spent over the next 2 years. This scheme mainly focuses on public transport and two-wheelers, three-wheelers, trucks and buses registered for commercial use. Privately owned electric two-wheelers also qualify under the scheme. The subsidies are distributed mostly in the form of a demand incentive. It is paid out to the OEM manufacturing the vehicle, and the customer sees this as a direct reduction in the final price of the vehicle. One thing to note here is that the government has excluded privately owned electric cars from this scheme altogether. This may be because the government thinks that the electric car industry has gained enough momentum in the last couple of years and can sustain themselves without subsidies, or they just don't see enough return for the money that they spend. Either way, your electric car is not subsidized anymore, at least by the central government. But electricity is. About 2,000 crores from this fund is going towards building a network of public charging stations, 22,100 fast chargers for four-wheelers, 1,800 for buses, and 48,400 for two and three-wheelers. And it's worth mentioning that unlike ICE vehicles, one can also charge their EVs at home. The 2024 union budget also brought some great perks for the local EV industry. The government exempted import duty on some crucial minerals used to make EV batteries and offered discounted rates on import of lithium-ion cells. Batteries being the biggest cost of making an EV, this will really help the local industry catch up to the competition, which is mostly China. Electrification and affordable luxury have been the defining themes of the auto industry for a few years now, and 2024 was no exception. The dominance of SUVs in the top 10 selling cars shows that the customers are willing to pay a premium if they're assured value for their money's worth. And it's no different for EVs. That's it from us. Please let us know in the comments if we missed out on anything. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.